Okay, waiting for it to pop up here.
Yeah, same here.
And here's your bowl. All right, I got mine.
There it goes. All right, I'm muting mine. Oh, here, I'm going to pause it. Okay, it's paused.
Okay, so we are back once again. Hopefully, without all that. My
Yeah,
goodness.
I think we fixed it. I know that. Well, that's what this show is for, is to work out all the bugs and
Yeah,
kinks.
this was a
So,
pizza host and get the bugs worked out and make sure everybody was on the same page. So, uh,
oh, Mary's like, I see living people.
note to self:
Yay!
do not forget to pause that play button in the thing because yeah, it's really bad. My
Yeah,
ears,
I see that now. I see why.
my ears are still ringing.
Mm-hmm. All right, well,
Okay.
let's continue forth and give these people some information, and
I
we'll
don't know the
we'll
chat
we'll spend the next 2 weeks
right.
figuring this out before we have a guest on. Hopefully, we'll get it fixed.
Anyway,
So,
being as I said in the first one, the Southern gentleman that I am, uh, ladies first.
oh, well, thank you. Of course, everybody knows my name is Michelle Fitzpatrick. I've been in the paranormal field for roughly 20, 22 years. I had an all-female group way back in the day when only analog have all this nice digital stuff. And we were together for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. And then everybody started having relationship problems. And so we just kind of like, you know, not really broke up, but we just kind of took a very long sabbatical. Um, I didn't have the issues they had, so I started another team called Kentucky Paranormal Research Team. And that team has been going on for about 8 years now. And we have done a lot of the really cool places where I live, which is the tri-state area, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. And we've even been down to Tennessee. We've even been to Illinois, and we've researched Ashmore. And we like the term research team instead of ghost hunter or, um, paranormal, whatever. We chose research because that's basically what we do. And long story short, very long story short, after many hours of research and documentation, we decided to go towards MUFON, which is Mutual UFO Network, because a lot of the stuff that we were catching and a lot of the evidence we were catching was so bizarre that we thought it couldn't be human. So with both me and my co-founder, we're not real big on the angel demon Christian philosophy thing. It's very hard to have a scientific mind and do research and believe in the Bible for me only. I speak for myself only. So we both joined MUFON. We did that for a little bit, and that's very interesting. So I do, in my opinion, believe that some of the things that we come in contact with as paranormal investigators are not of this world. This also includes interdimensional beings, ultra-dimensional beings, et cetera, et cetera. For the difference, interdimensional beings are such, they come from a different dimension. Ultra-dimensional beings are those that can come through wormholes, time travel, come through the dimension, so they're really similar but not. And let's see, I have a degree in criminal justice. Basically, it's criminology and forensic science. I'm very proud of that because that gives me a lot of, I guess, clout when it comes to someone not being too crazy, because if I can make it through college, then surely I can, be taken as a respectable person with that. Let's see, I had a whole bunch of stuff I was going to say, and now it's left me with all the googly we went through. I used to do Timeless Dimensions a couple of years back. I had the show, but it was through liveparanormal.com, and it was a really good show, but the guy that I had to pay to have my show, he and I butted heads so much. So I ended up letting that go. I ended up shutting Timeless Dimensions down, and so now here it is again. but I've never done this video stuff. So this is all new to me. The way we did it before was strictly phone. You had a little studio, and you would play music in between and all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of good guests. You could actually go to Google and Google Michelle Fitzpatrick, and a lot of the shows that I did will pop up. I also co-hosted with Jim Heater, Paranormal Geeks Radio. We interviewed so many people: Sean Stone, Marzulli. He's a big Nephilim person. I don't have a list with me, but we interviewed some really cool people. I also am dabbling with conspiracy theory, so that's why I want to try and bring in some conspiracy people, because a lot of this stuff, I think we're not being told as, Americans, citizens, of what's really going on. Like, I fully believe in the secret space program, etc. So it'd be fascinating to try to get some guests in here to talk about that.
I agree.
Yeah. So, your turn, Mr. Bell.
Okay, Mr. Geez, I got a promotion on first show. Anyway, most everybody knows me. I do the Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio. I've been doing it for a couple of years. Also do the Paranormal Graveyard on Mondays with Christina Corsetti. And I've been researching and investigating in the paranormal since probably about 2002, maybe. But I've always had an interest because at the age of 9, I actually saw spirits. And
interesting.
Although I quit seeing them because it was beat into my head that I was imagining the whole thing, I still sense them sometimes, depending on if they want me to know they're there. I know they're there because I can feel it. That's the only way I know how to put that. And sometimes they do, trust me.
Yeah.
Like somebody put a vice on my head and starts cranking it in, like. But anyway, Michelle and I had a long talk about this. What was it, about 3 or 4 nights a week ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with a lot of things, and I don't mean anything bad towards anybody when I say this, so I hope nobody takes it wrong, but when you run a show, it's hard to run by yourself. Even with guests, you still, if you have a co-host or a host working with you, it's more to bounce ideas off of, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find a decent co-host that's willing to put forth the same effort that you do. So we were talking, and we were both saying, yeah, I know, I understand, I know what you're saying. And so somewhere along the line, we decided, well, hey, instead of trying to find co-hosts for this show and that show, why don't we just combine the 2 shows and host them together? So that's kind of how this was born. And we have a lot of interesting guests lined up. We will start scheduling here. And we're going to start this thing out bi-weekly, and it will change. The time will change from 9 to 8 Eastern, 7 Central. But for this one, we already had it set up, so we did it at 9. We will start scheduling. The next one will be on the 21st. Am I right?
Yes, sir, you are. And
Okay.
yeah. And this is exactly why we didn't want to bring a guest on for our first show, because how embarrassing would that have been, So this is our dry run and get to know the host kind of thing. So, people know who I am. And well, a lot of people know who you are. They've been following you for a while. I've been out of the radio show thing for about 2 years. So, now they can get to know me. And yeah, we've got some really cool guests lined up. So I hope that this doesn't shoo anybody away. Hang in there. We got some really cool people coming.
Yeah, and like she said, this was a iron the bugs out, get to know who we are kind of thing. for the ones of her following that don't know who I am, and for the ones of my following that don't know who she is. This is kind of like a
Right.
everybody get to know who we are thing and see how crazy we are sometimes.
No doubt.
But you know,
Plus, I was thinking, Roger, I was thinking about maybe a roundtable about if we can get enough people together, maybe doing a roundtable like every 3 months.
that
How are
would
you
be
with that?
awesome. I love roundtables.
I do too.
You know, the one that we did, like I said, it wound up running for 4 freaking hours. We had a
Yeah,
blast, you know, and such good information got put out, you know, and we had
hmm
fun, and it was just laid back and casual, and everybody had a good time, and I loved it.
yeah,
Roundtables, though, um, when you have, and this is how I worded this, you can have 5 people in the paranormal field on a roundtable, and each one of those people has a different mindset. So, although we're after the same thing, some of us look at things a little bit different. So you get to hear everybody else's ideas, you know, and you collaborate, and it's kind of like a learning experience. You need to bring a notebook and a pen, you know, because you'll be surprised at things you'll learn. So yeah, roundtables are awesome. I can't wait to do that. Every 3 months, I think we should schedule a roundtable every 3 months. That's great.
Oh, I agree. I think that's a great idea. I'm talking in chat real quick.
Now, Michelle and I go back a little ways.
hmm
uh,
What about 3, 4 years
4 years,
on Facebook?
yeah,
Yeah.
on Facebook. And over the last, we kind of got drifted apart for a good while there, but over the last so many months, or maybe a year, we've kind of gotten back in touch, and you know, we've been in touch ever since. And then, you know, when she actually came to me about her show and everything, you know, and I'm glad that we talked like we did, and we decided to do this because I think it's going to be awesome.
I
Uh,
do too.
I think her idea, the name of her show, the whole topic, it covers a broad aspect of all different kinds of things. Not and if you look at it, everything actually can link to the paranormal, but it can be a little different. Like, you know, MUFON and the alien conspiracy stuff. It all actually can link to the paranormal, because to me, the paranormal is anything that is not normal. So,
Yeah.
you know, it
Yeah,
all.
it does. It covers a great big broad spectrum. So
And,
Half Past Dead Paranormal has a paranormal ring, Timeless Dimensions has, because here's what's really cool is I'm going to lean more towards the ET UFO, trying to bring those people in, and you'll be bringing in paranormal groups, and I've got a couple paranormal groups myself. So, I mean, we've got all our bases covered.
I,
And just an FYI to those listeners, we've got about a year's worth of guests
oh,
ready to go.
still adding,
So hang in there with us. Yeah.
we're still adding people. Um, Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio started and still is the paranormal and strange. And I say that because it doesn't just cover like hauntings, okay? It's designed to cover hauntings, Bigfoot, conspiracy, you name it, whatever you want to do. And hers is the same way. So we actually hooked up 2 shows that pretty much cover all different kinds of topics, and that is what's
hmm
made this good.
hmm
Um, Plus, it never hurts to have a beautiful lady host on your other side. You see,
You were silly.
you see
You
what
were
I'm
silly.
saying? Yeah.
Oh, Mary said the UFO topic would be great. Thank you, Mary. I agree. Because, a lot of people in the paranormal field, they still stick with ghosts and
Yeah.
the typical haunting stuff, to where when you bring the UFO topic in, you bring in the interdimensional beings, the ultra-dimensional beings, et cetera, as well as your typical unidentified flying objects. So that's what UFO stands for. There is another name for it now, But yeah, it will lean towards ET and the other races of ET that people claim to be in contact with. So the Palladians, Arcturians, the Hathors, the Reptilians are really famous. The Dracos, the Greys, then there's other Greys. You know, there's just a whole slew of races that are being talked about right now, and I cannot wait to get some big names in here to help us figure all this out because I'm still researching myself. So it'll be interesting.
Well, also, if you go back to the paranormal side, shadow figures
Mm-hmm.
to me are dimensional.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that goes back into the other part.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I don't know how many cases reported of wherever Sasquatch has been seen, a UFO was also seen in the area.
Yeah, we talked about that on the roundtable, and that's
So
absolutely a fact.
And I've heard different stories that Sasquatch was a dimensional being also.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes around in this paranormal thing that can be linked to the dimensional thing.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
big deal right now. There
yeah,
was you remember that spiral thing in Norway that they claim to be a
oh yeah.
it's a big blue spiral. A lot of people think that that was a portal opening or a gateway or something like that.
Yeah.
And some people think that it was a rocket that went awry. Yeah, first thing we need to realize is that the government is going to lie to us about
Everything.
everything. Everything. So even the 1947 Roswell incident, they tried to give us weather
Yeah.
balloon, all kinds of things. And now we've got whistleblowers coming out left and right telling us that
But
ET found there and et cetera, et cetera. Reverse engineering.
I've
It's a
got
big
to
deal.
interrupt real quick while it's on my mind. You brought up
Okay.
Roswell and the weather balloon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look at, and I'm sure a lot of people have looked at this, but when they showed the picture of Ramey and the guy, what's the guy's name again that was holding the weather balloon? I forget his name. Anyway, they announced they had found a UFO. Then they turned around, no, it wasn't a UFO, it was this weather balloon. Okay, but now when they showed the wreckage on the pasture, all you saw was little scraps of metal strewn over a freaking acre. Okay?
Yep. Yep.
Now, when they showed the picture of the weather balloon, it was pretty much intact. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you think anybody with a pea-sized brain could see that was a load of crap.
Well, yeah, and then you just said a key word right there, pea-sized brain, and um, I don't know if I would have chosen that word, but I call them sleepers. Um, there's this big thing going on right now that I'm pretty sure anybody who would follow a show or be in a spiritual room, etc., has heard of by now, and it's called the awakening.
Right.
The Great Awakening.
Yeah.
So this is where we are being, in my opinion, and see, we're going to touch on this later in these shows. We are being genetically, DNA wise, we are being advanced. That's what the Great Awakening is, into a higher form of energy, into a higher, so we would be able to accept this stuff. I'm telling you, I really do think it's going to be in our lifetime
In
that we get the truth.
Paranormal brought up a thing that said it would make more sense if Bigfoot sightings were more extra dimensional. Now,
Okay.
having said that, I'm going to tell you about the one thing that's brought up by people who have said they saw this. Now, I'm not quoting that this is fact. I'm just saying. There's been cases where somebody said that they saw Bigfoot and then he disappeared like that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't run off, just gone. that would make sense in a dimensional thing.
Well, and another theory is that, and I think I brought this up on the roundtable. There, you can look at a map on Google. Anybody's, can just go on Google. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. You can see where the latest Bigfoot sightings are, and within a week, usually there are UFO sightings in the same place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's two theories that I'm bouncing off right now, that they're either interdimensional, which they probably are, because even if an ET were to come here and have this entity, for lack of a better word, scout out the perimeter for them to land, you'll find that wherever there's a Sasquatch sighting, within a few days, there's also a UFO sighting in the same place.
Okay.
You're welcome to research that all you want. So that's very interesting.
Another tidbit that may or may not be, but it's an interesting thought. Bigfoot could be dimensional,
Yes.
but also it is said that UFOs travel here through wormholes and all. That's how they get over great distances to get here. Why could they not go through a dimension like Bigfoot would have? So they could enter this plane through a dimension.
Well, with that said, if anybody, and I always screw up his last name, Zachariah Stitchin.
Yeah.
He is the one that came up with this whole ancient alien theory. That we were, how do I word this? We were created. That the DNA was mixed with the indigenous species, say for instance the chimp or the ape or whatever. So Bigfoot could have also been what we would have naturally evolved into had we not had any genetic manipulation, which a lot of people do believe. Exactly. So there's a third explanation to what Bigfoot was.
Some people refer to Bigfoot as the missing link.
Yeah, I've heard that before myself. Absolutely.
And if, say, we would have evolved into Sasquatch had we not, our DNA not been tampered with back when Moby Dick, he would be the missing link.
Yeah.
Because he is what we would have been had we not been changed.
Exactly. Tampered with, our genetics tampered with. I agree with that. That is a great theory.
Yeah. Mary was saying creatures from, and let me see if I pronounce this right, Lemuria.
Lemuria.
Lemuria
were described as
appearing as like large hairy humans. Okay, you're gonna have to broaden my horizons. What is this Lemuria?
Bigfoot plus humans. Mary, I'm sorry, I don't know what an obrid. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not familiar with that word. I think I know, but I don't know enough to say I know enough. I'm sorry.
Obrid?
Yeah, an obrid.
What is an obrid? I've never heard of that. Enlighten me, Mary, please.
Me too.
And enlighten us on what that
Lost
is.
continent that went down with the Atlantis. Oh, okay. Oh. In my opinion, I believe the continent of Atlantis, that these people are, these are our Nordics. So if you look up and Google Nordics, you are going to see tall blondes. And to me, that's what I believe that Atlantis is or was.
And Hitler believed that was the Aryan race.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And which started the Holocaust and all the other stuff that the government's trying to make us forget about, which is,
Exactly. Now, people like Stitchin and a lot of, I don't know how many people go along with the ancient alien thing, but I believe a lot of that stuff is fact. and it's been
They
proven.
do a real good job of explaining it. I mean, they really do.
Yeah, and then you got people that are saying, yeah, the ancient alien theory was debunked, such and such was caught lying, and all this stuff. And everybody has to run somebody down. It's just a thing, okay? But I believe a lot of that stuff is actually the way they explain it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I agree, and I watch that show religiously.
I love it.
The only thing I don't like is when one of the speakers comes on and says, not Giorgio Tupalakis or however you say his name, the big hair guy. I call him the big hair guy.
The big hair guy.
For him,
the one
everything,
I'm not saying
everything.
Aliens, but it's aliens.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. I mean, yeah. I like the Eric Don Bonican or Dan Bannikin or whatever his name is. He's amazing. I like him probably the best. And also, I follow David Wilcock, and he's on that show as well. And I truly recommend
the whole thing with his theories, and everybody started latching on to it.
Yeah.
And where you got all these other people that joined with him and said, "Yeah, this is makes sense."
Yeah. I just got a comment from Divergent Path Paranormal, and I love this comment. They say there are ancient accounts of attacks from sea people that do not match any known culture. I just did some research on this a little bit ago, and there is a lot of theory, and let me explain theory. Theory, there is evidence, but not enough to say it's fact. So just because it's a theory doesn't mean it's not true. So there supposedly is an alien race that has lived here for, I don't want to quote any numbers, but let's just say hundreds of thousands of years. And they are known as like the aquatic type, with the web fingers. Some of them look like mermaids. I'm totally with you on that, Divergent. Known culture, yes, absolutely. Undersea chambers that life forms do live in. Absolutely, Mary. Absolutely, I agree with you.
And as everybody knows, the Sumerians were considered to be the first actual civilization.
Recorded civilization. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, civilization. And I don't know how many of you are acquainted with the Anunnaki, but anyway, the Anunnaki came, they did some DNA stuff, they changed whatever creature that they changed, whether it was humanoid or what have you, that created intelligent beings. And they did this to create a slave race. But from what I understand, and I read back in, it's been a while, so I ain't going to remember it all, but I read bukus of stuff about all that.
Well, I'm very fresh with the Anunnaki. I've been studying it for years. So.
Supposedly, there were two powers to be in this Anunnaki group. That one wanted to save us, one wanted to destroy us. They fought amongst each other. The humans rebelled against the ones who wanted to destroy us, and apparently we survived. But anyway.
No, we didn't actually. That's where the flood comes in, the biblical flood. Well, you can, if you step outside of the Christian Bible and go into some other ancient texts, the story of Gilgamesh. Every known religion has a flood story, and they messed with us, and their higher ups weren't happy, and they decided to destroy the race as we know it, which they tried to do with the floods.
That's
some were able to go underground. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did survive, and anyway, kind of a little refresher course for anybody who didn't know all this stuff. Now, where does my thing in wondering about it is, where, if Bigfoot is the missing link, okay, I would have to say that they messed with some of us they didn't. The ones that they didn't evolved into what is now known as Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, whatever, Abominable Snowman. And, of course, the rest of us evolved into what we are. So, yeah, in a way, I guess he is kind of, he would be considered like the missing link because he's the only thing after I started to say contamination, I guess you could call it that, when they changed our DNA or whatever and made us who we are, the other ones still evolved into what Sasquatch is. And then if that is true, then he would not necessarily be a dimensional being. He would be a being that just survived through the thousands of years. So either way you look at it, man, that's some interesting stuff.
It really is. I tend to lean against the that Sasquatch is the missing link because that if like you said, if we were genetically altered and only a certain portion of us were genetically altered, and then this I guess caveman ape type style ultimately human would be the what we would have turned into if we weren't genetically tampered with. There would be, in my opinion, more of them. It wouldn't be such a mystery. You know, we can't even seem to catch a hair. All we get are these little cement footprints. You know, that could be staged or could not. You know, so. So for me, I think they're interdimensional.
I have to say, and it is believed that that Thoth, Amon, an alchemist of Egypt, came from Atlantis, also referred to as
Hermes. Here with Hermes, yes.
Yeah, who supposedly carved the emerald tablets that have yet to be verifiably
translated. Yeah.
Okay, now is the emerald tablets, is that quote unquote like the Ten Commandment tablets?
Not to me. For me, the emerald tablets, no. I do believe that Moses went up this mountain and had an experience and came down with what should be our rudimentary laws for civilization.
Right.
For me, it's not biblical. I believe it's more extraterrestrial. I've always believed in the Watchers. I always believe that we have a race of ET that are looking out for us, that are genetically tampering with us. As a matter of fact, a lot of people will say just, that there are good grays, bad grays, and all this other stuff. So for me, no, that the emerald tablets to me,
okay, Matt.
I've got thoughts on that, but it's a little too early in the show for me to blast out all my conspiracy stuff. So I'll pause for that right now.
Okay. Now I watched.
Oh, alchemy knowledge. Yeah. It could very well be. I haven't done enough research to answer that.
I watched an Ancient Alien show recently where it's talking about Moses going up the mountain and the cloud came down. And it didn't say anything about a burning bush or any of this stuff, okay? Supposedly, an opening opened up in this cloud. Moses went into an extraterrestrial craft. That's where he received the Ten Commandments, the tablets that he brought down to the Israelites.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was reading Mary's post. We're getting into some deep stuff over here. So I heard about half of what you said.
Okay. Instant short repeat.
The burning bush and stuff. Yeah, the burning bush and stuff, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. See, I'm on the fence with all this.
The cloud opened up. Moses entered into a craft.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard that.
From the extraterrestrial beings and brought the tablets back down.
I've heard that as well.
Okay.
I haven't done enough research on it to be able to really comment, but yeah, I've heard that as well. Because he went into a chariot of fire. There's all these metaphors that
yeah.
were used to describe what they saw because they had never seen anything like that before. So in their own words, fire breathing dragon. Even in Revelations, it talks about beasts with iron chest plates,
Yeah.
And this, that, and the other. So, I mean, who knows? They didn't know what they were seeing. So that's the only way to I guess, translate what they were seeing to other people.
Mary, you're right. Enoch was one that was taken up into the fiery chariot. But
I agree 100%. Yes.
Yes, and what exactly was that fiery chariot?
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to bring up my point. I love this point. So,
okay.
Y'all just what's that word you use where it's like just bear with me here.
Yeah, just bear with me. Yeah.
I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm an original Star Trek fan, Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, and all of them. And one of the movies, they went to this planet where, quote unquote, God was. And God said in his thundering voice, "Give me your spaceship so that I can take my knowledge," And Dr. McCoy, being who he was, I love Dr. McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
What does God need with a spaceship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm outside. You are going to hear me talk, but you probably won't be able to see me because I'm outside now.
Oh, anyway.
Well,
that is one of my points I make whenever they talked about seeing fiery chariots in the sky come down, took Enoch supposedly, quote unquote, to heaven or whatever.
Right.
There's many mentions in the Bible that talks about flaming ships or not ships necessarily, but craft of some sort that came down from the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, to me, that is basically saying that a alien craft came down, took up Enoch, and of course, I think there was supposed to be another one that was taken away in a fiery chariot too, or some kind of craft or something. I can't remember which one that was, but and another thing, let's go to Job real quick. Job was swallowed by a whale.
That wasn't Job. Job had to kill his firstborn son.
No.
As a sacrifice to not Noah. The whale. Goodness,
Job
which one was that?
Swallowed by the whale because he refused to do what God commanded of him. Okay. Abraham was the one that was supposed to kill his son.
I thought it was Job. Well, we're not going to debate the Bible, but I'm pretty sure Job was like, "Why have you forsaken me, O Lord?" Yada yada.
This human was swallowed by a whale and survived in this whale for 3 days in his stomach.
Sounds like Moby Dick to me.
And came out, all fine and dandy. Well, I'm sorry, but if a human being goes into the stomach of any creature, the stomach acids are going to eat him up after 3 days.
Well, that's once again a metaphor. So it has to be a metaphor.
Exactly. So what exactly was the whale?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So there's so many strange things, man, you can get into.
I know. I can't wait to start really talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make logical sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going, what exactly was this whale?
I wouldn't say logical because today's Christians, for them, it is logical.
Well, yeah.
For a scientific mind, it is illogical. So we'll just, save that, change that for us. Yeah.
Could that whale have been a USO?
Could have been.
Okay, back in the day, if it was, and you know how they have the cigar-shaped UFOs that's been seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supposing they had one that was a USO that was under the water, but it's long and bulky and it looked like a whale.
I see where you're going with this now. Okay, I'm with you.
They're like, it's a whale. Whale swallowed him. Just a point, you know. I mean, and by no means am I trying to denounce the Bible to anybody that you know believes in all that stuff. I'm not saying anything about. I'm just saying there are other questions, you know, and that's one of the things that Van Daniken, when he wrote The Chariot of the Gods, they came down on him because of a lot of that stuff. But in that book,
There
question
we go.
mark everywhere. He was just asking questions. Well, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just asking a question. What if Job was swallowed by a USO? You know, and
Hey, yeah, that's a great topic. And I can't wait to really get it knee deep into this stuff because this is right up my alley. Go
hey,
there, Ben. You there?
Wendell Lama, hello, hello, Wendell.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
can you hear me now? Good. But anyway, you know, like I said, I'm one of these people that thinks about things in a logical way.
Hmm.
I'm not a book smart. I don't have, you know, oodles and goodles of what you call it, titles under my belt, so to speak. So I look at things in a really logical way, and there are so many questions,
Yeah.
you know, and you can take something that was put forth in one way, and when you look at it and think about the time period, um, people actually like the cave drawings. They carved the cave drawings of what they actually saw. They wouldn't have knew how to make up a UFO.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if they
Hmm.
carved a UFO on a cave wall, they saw one. Uh,
Yeah.
if they carved somebody in a what looks like an astronaut suit, that's what they saw.
Hmm.
You know, if people saw Job swallowed by a whale, that's because they didn't know what a UFO was.
Hmm.
If it were
Agreed.
if it were a USO, to them it would look like a big whale.
Possibly,
Uh,
especially if it was a USO. Yeah.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
So
Definitely. Definitely. There's so many topics that I can't wait to get into.
yeah, I know.
Um, yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to get these guests going.
To get
So,
to get a good guest in here that's good on one of these topics because I want to dig into it. You know,
hmm.
and so anyway, everybody, I hope y'all are enjoying this. We are. Um, I'm Roger Belt. This is Michelle Fitzpatrick, of course, Timeless Dimensions Radio and Half Past Dead. Just so anybody that came in late, this is who we are. This is get to know who we are, just talking whatever comes to our mind, but still it's very interesting. Um,
Yeah, and we'll work on Miss Shelley getting involved,
yeah,
the little
yeah.
kinks that were happening there, because she's got a lot of good input as far as the paranormal as well. So sorry about all that, but and sorry, Shelley. We'll figure it out, girl. We'll figure it out. So,
We'll get it all worked out hopefully by the next
hmm.
show anyway. Um,
Yeah.
and we're also I have diligently been working on trying to figure out how to way to get uh, an intro and outro into YouTube Live, and it's virtually impossible. But I will not give up. So
Right.
that hopefully one day we'll have us a good intro and outro to go with the show. But
Right. I hear
that's
you.
obviously going to be in the future. Hold on here, I gotta
Okay.
Frank Lee. Let me see here, Mister. Use that link there, sir. Okay, now back to where we were. Uh, Frank Lee is another. Frank Lee is awesome, dude. He's a paranormal investigator from Alabama.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Frank is a very technical and logical kind of guy like me. I'm not the technical guy, but he is. And he's really great with audio if you ever need any help with that. Don't tell him I said.
Right, right. A note taken, believe me.
Flooded and then say, where'd all this come from? Damn it, Roger. But anyway, yeah, he's a great guy. And
Okay.
Scott Dodson, Richard Rowland,
Mm-hmm.
and Blaine Rohan, all of them, they're going to be at the Old South Pittsburgh coming up very soon, you guys. About 19 more days. And for those who don't know, that's Old South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, which is, from everything I've heard, is really an active place. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. But there's going to be a 2-day lockdown on the 26th through the 27th. And all the funds for the tickets go to COPD research. So if anybody can make it, I'd appreciate it if you would come and help with donations for the research. And 2-night investigation is going to be awesome. There'll be food there. There's so many rooms, I think, available that you can actually stay in. You will need to bring your own covers, pillow, etc., fan if you have one, because I think the electric's out in most of the building. But, well, not the electric, the air conditioning. I'm sorry.
Right.
But anyway, thought I'd throw that in there real quick.
Yeah.
Also, Divergent Path Paranormal, which is in the chat room there, will be one of our future guests also.
Mm.
So
Excellent.
looking forward to that.
So they can show you some of the hot spots. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they are also going to be at Old South, so that's going to be really cool.
Nice.
And we did get to investigate with them at the old church in Carroll County, Tennessee, here recently, and that was a blast. And I got to see their webisode, and we did, or should I say, they did. Now, I had visual experiences, but they actually caught stuff on camera,
Mm-hmm.
even on thermal. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh, let me chime in real quick. There's a big paranormal meet and greet at the Hannah House in Indianapolis, Indiana. If anybody'd like to go, there's going to be a ton of people there. There's going to be psychic mediums. The Ghost Brothers, I think they're airing on TV right now. Keith Age is going to be there. I don't know if y'all know him or not, but he's from my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. He's going to be there. I think the Booth Brothers are going to be there as well.
Yeah, he works with Booth and them.
Yeah. So if anybody can make it to Indianapolis this coming Saturday on the 13th, it starts at 10 a.m. It's all free. Don't need no money. If you want to vend, that's free too. Just bring your own table and all of that. And there's about 400 people that are going to be there. So that's a great networking cause, to get in and meet, other teams that do what we do, man, So thought I'd throw that in
It
there.
would be awesome if Christopher St. Booth could make it to the Old South lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. Yeah, so a little information for people who are wanting to get out and do something. There are two things that are both very worthy. And
absolutely.
I will be a guest speaker at the Old South thing because I do have COPD. I have good days and bad days, but still, I trudge on. And I have a lot of information on the thing about COPD, that I won't have time to talk about all of it because I have like a book. So what I will do is I will place this on a table and everybody, can look through it and if they want to understand what COPD is, what it does. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of that right now because this is our meet and greet thing here, or get to know thing, and just throwing that out there. There's going to be a lot of good speakers there on the paranormal, and also there will be a paranormal one-on-one class for anyone who has never investigated before that would like
Very important.
to see what it's like. You can get a hands-on sort of mini training thing, to where you can actually enjoy the investigation process and what all it entitles. Otherwise than that, that pretty much describes that. As far as I know right now, there's at least over 60 people that are supposed to be there, and I'm sure there'll be more by the time it actually happens. But we do appreciate anybody that comes and helps out, with the cause, and also look forward to a good time. Now, let's get back into what we like to talk about.
Oh, yes. Let's do.
Ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, Nessie. We haven't even touched on that.
Oh, Nessie. I saw a show one time, and that's where the interdimensional portals come through once again.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let me try to break this down really quickly. And I know it's probably going to go over some people's head. That's okay. I will get more into this later. Mention right now. I think everybody would agree with that. Well, we obviously had a first, a second dimension as well. Now we're in the third. A lot of people believe that the fourth dimension is our boundaries with time. And that once we let loose of time and aren't bound or restricted by time, that we will enter into the 5D, the fifth D dimension, which is supposedly a all energy dimension where you don't have a physical body. So I think that's very, very interesting, and we're going to touch more on that. But so there's been some speculation and some theories that Nessie. Okay, if you take our planet, maybe, for instance, the first dimension was with the dinosaurs that were on this planet. And then we entered into the second dimension, which would be the caveman, the da-da-da-da-da. Now we're into the third dimension, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a lot of belief out there that every now and again, a dinosaur will punch through one of these dimensions and be seen for a short amount of time and then punch back through to the first dimension. So this is where you get into string theory. This is when you get into the layers of dimensions that still exist. So for me, Nessie is very much real, but I don't believe that Nessie is living in the Loch Ness over there. I think the whatever you want to call it punches through from occasion. Does that make any sense to y'all?
It does, except
okay, good.
a little smidgen of a detail.
Okay.
Okay. If Nessie is breaking through a dimension in and out, that would mean that there's a thin wall of the dimensions at that point.
Oh yeah.
And
Everybody will agree that the veil is getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
So
and that is because we're on the verge of accelerating into the next dimension. Absolutely.
My point is, all they've ever talked about seeing is Nessie. But if that were the case, why wouldn't other prehistoric creatures have broke through that dimension and been seen also?
Well, okay, if it's not impossible, then it's possible. That is a theory I live by. And perhaps these lizard men that are being seen are another punch through. There's all kinds of creatures that are being
Yeah.
seen that could have punched through in that moment. That's the best
That's
answer
why
I
I
have.
want to make
Yeah.
sure I got out. This is not the only thing
Right.
that is coming through, and that's not the only place that they come through at. I'm sure that's
Of
just
course.
okay. There also, I'm sure, there are dry land portals, or
Well, I mean, think about it. We've got the Mothman.
yeah,
Where did that come from? You know, we've got all kinds of like demon looking critters that people see. You know, it is a, I don't know who all believes in the reptilians, but according to my research and my research alone, for me, the reptilians, I believe 100% that they exist, and they are fourth dimensional beings that can punch through into the third dimension. This is where your demonic possessions come in, you know, and things like that. I just saw a post recently of a girl who is a paranormal investigator, and she caught "I'm going to rape you" on her spirit box. Well,
damn,
guess what? I've caught the same thing, and everybody was typing in that they've caught the same thing. And the reptilians are known for being the incubus. That's the more familiar word is the incubus.
incubus,
Yeah.
succubus, whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, something's always puzzled me. Which dimension did I cross through from?
From why do you say that?
It
What do you
was
mean cross through?
a joking metaphor, but also,
Oh, okay.
uh, yeah, you know, because not too many things that look like me have showed up on planet Earth.
Oh,
But
stop it. Stop it.
that
Mr. Funny Guy.
it's a joke, you guys.
Yeah. I was being all serious.
Okay. Um, shit, I lost track of what I was going to say. Um,
If anybody has the time, they need to research string theory. String theory talks about the so-called 13.
hello? Did we lose you? Oh, I think we lost. Ah, man, we lost her. Maybe she'll be back here in a second. Anyway, something's belly. There is some kind of super
Yeah,
predator
sorry, I'm back
in
now.
the ocean. A 9-foot great white tag with a data recorder was dragged to the bottom of the ocean and changed as it only could inside. Something belly. Wow. The shark marched up, bit in half. Huh.
Interesting. Margaret just said something that's very interesting as well that I'm going to have to stew on for a little bit because I really do try to follow the dimensional things. That's where I learn some of my eye-opening experiences.
Yeah,
I think there are dimension between dimensions.
between the
Okay. I've got a perfect answer for that. Go to your front door and stand in between or stand under your front door. So you can be sort of in between dimensions because if you take a step back in the house, if you take a step outside, then you're outside. So standing under the door puts you in between.
right.
And
Very
that's
good.
the only way that I know how to explain that. And it's very deep. It could make your head go poof. So yeah, I do agree with you, Margaret. There is an in between place. Yes.
So now that brings up another question.
Okay.
What if we had a creature or extraterrestrial or whatever
Hmm.
that was stuck between our dimension and the next?
Okay.
You know, what would we see? What would there be?
I think honestly that this is kind of why paranormal researchers catch what they catch. I personally don't believe that a lot of the stuff we do catch are dead people. I think they are interdimensional creatures that are stuck here, just like you said.
Yeah, but you know, and I think there's both. Um, but if they come through, and let's just say, for example, you have a thin area of the veil,
Mm-hmm.
and the shadow figure or whatever comes through. Okay, and the veil is constantly shifting, and so when they get ready to go back through, it's not thin anymore, and they can't get back through there. They're stuck here, just like
True. Well,
look at a spirit.
yeah. When you get done, I want to toss your noodle a little bit. I'm going to give you a brain explosion.
Okay.
Okay. So we have these shadow beings that look humanoid in shape. You know, when I have yet to see a show or talk to anybody that describes a shadow being other than humanoid. You know, so tall, 2 arms, 2 legs, you know, in this dark mass shape.
Oh, 9 yards.
So why are they showing up humanoid? I mean, I have a theory, but I'm not ready to put that out there yet.
I will throw
So
out
I'm
my,
asking you. Okay.
let's just say if you were a shapeshifter
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to fit into a certain area you were going to, what shape would you shift into?
Of course. Yeah.
So if they wanted to fit in this dimension, they would show themselves in a form that we would recognize.
I agree with Divergent. I mean, shadow animals as well, especially shadow cats. We get those a lot.
Okay, but
Um,
anyway, that's kind of the idea that I get. They would want to fit in. They would want to be, want you to recognize them. And if they were, let's just say that in their true form, they were horrible looking beasts. And
mm-hmm.
they want to come over here looking like a horrible looking beast.
Of
Because
course.
they would want to fit into where they're going.
Well, and I'm gonna like add to that a little bit. If they were to show themselves in their true form, like you said, it would probably scare the bejesus out of us.
Exactly.
So they will mock. They will mock things
Yes.
that we see as non-threatening,
That's my
like children, animals. Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point
Yeah.
I was trying to make. They wouldn't want to scare the shit out of
Yeah.
they.
Right. So, you know, that's why a lot of times paranormal research will catch little children's voices
Yeah,
or elderly people, you know, because those are the things that we don't necessarily put our guard up with.
yeah,
And those are also, in my opinion, only the most dangerous.
exactly. That's why it's been said numerous times. If you're investigating some place and you get something coming to you as a child,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it doesn't just go toward anyone, but let's say that you have a female in your group who is also a mother. That's where it will head.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the natural motherly instinct wants to hug them up, and oh, I feel so sad for you.
Well, and another thing, real quick, we have to remember that if these are human beings that have died, their body is either cremated or in the ground.
Yes.
And also, they don't have vocal cords. Okay, so for them to be able to punch through the veil and speak to us to where we can catch them on our equipment, manifest themselves into a human shape, you know, it can't be, in my opinion. I mean, vocal cords, it's just like a mind poof, you know. So I knew what I was going, but I had a squirrel moment. Sorry.
Well,
But
if
anyway, so
that
I
were
never
true,
trust. Oh, that's where I was going. Never ever trust an entity that comes through or you catch on photo or on video or whatever that shows up in a human shape.
so you're
Those are the
saying
ones that worry me the most.
actors or you get a disembodied voice or an EVP, it's not a human spirit.
Personally, my opinion, I wonder. I'm not going to go out there and put my reputation on the line and say no. But this is another reason to where I've gotten into MUFON. I do believe in the interdimensionals, the dimensions. I do believe in ET, and I believe that some of them, the only way they can manifest is through these balls of light, which a lot of people call orbs. I am very much anti-orb. So many orbs look like, I mean, there's dust looks like a million orbs. But if you can back it up with some electronic equipment like a K2 meter or two K2 meters, and if you have a light anomaly that passes through and both K2s go off, yes, because they're energy. The body is in the ground. They don't have any vocal cords. They're an energy. Everything in our solar system ends up being round, as well as the human energy that we give off will show up round. So, so no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that 3/4 of what we catch is human.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to argue that point.
That's still up for debate because none of us have any proof. All we have is our own ideas.
I don't have knowledge or proof to say yes it is or no it ain't. I will say that I think there is a how did I say this? Not necessarily a half and half, but there's a certain amount of them that are, and there's a certain amount of them that are using that to be able to convince us that, hey, we're a human spirit, we're okay. So I wanted to get into this. Divergent Path was saying it was the size of a medium dog with horns in the corner of the ceiling hovering.
Oh, that's a creeper. I know exactly what that is. Yes, that's a creeper.
Now, in, I believe it's Waverly Hills, yeah, they talk about the black mass.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see it when I was there. I'm not saying it's not there or wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Waverly has creepers. I've been there several times. I live in Louisville.
But anyway, just making that point there, that's kind of like you have people that say they saw shadow people, which were black forms, humanoid looking, some of them with hats and, all this stuff. And then you have a lot of people who say that all they saw was a large black mass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that black mass the same thing that other people are seeing as humanoid and it just didn't fully transform itself to look like the humanoid, or is that just what it is?
Oh, wait a minute. Divergent said they saw large round eyes. Okay. Interesting. What color were the eyes? Catch it for sure. Yeah. I got to see my first creeper at a place called Willow's Weep, and it was I'd always heard of them, but I never really saw one or was able to catch it on video. And this thing that I saw was one of the creepiest things in my whole paranormal career. It scurried. It was like nightmare stuff. It scurried along the ceiling, ended up in the corner of the ceiling in between the two walls, and all I saw was this claw come down, and you could tell it had like nails. That's why I called it a claw. Then it pulled up, it scurried across another way, and then the other hand come down. It wasn't in a humanoid shape. It was just like a thing that scurried across the ceiling. And out of I know I got people here laughing at me, but it was I ended up getting that. And one of these days, real soon, I'm going to start posting my evidence because I've got some evidence that is just. Yeah, so to me, that's what a creeper is. I never saw eyes. I never saw a shape. It just looked like a big black blob. But when this arm come down, it did have claws, and that freaked me out.
Okay, Divergent.
I ended up running out.
It was well defined with large gray eyes.
Oh, well, you know where I'm going to go with that. Do you think you brought? Who? Mary, is that for Divergent or for me?
It was in their house.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see it now. Ooh. Well, I ended up bringing something home with me once, and I haven't done any investigations since. It took me weeks to calm that stuff down. So that's another reason I went over into ET. And I think I've learned enough. I mean, you can investigate, get EVPs all day long, but where do you go with it after you've investigated for 10 years? It's like the same thing over and over and over. You have to like broaden your horizons and seek more than what you've already learned because it's repetitive.
Well, if the only reason that I investigated was just to get the evidence and the, all that stuff, then yeah, I probably would have quit already.
Yeah.
But if I help one person who's dealing with something like this, then it's worth my time.
So you are still doing residential cases, Roger?
If they call, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good for you. Good for you.
Because that's the main reason I started doing this. People are important, and if somebody's dealing with something and they don't understand it, they're going to look for help from anybody. And if you
I agree.
Help one person, then it's all worth it.
In response to Divergent's post, I believe also, we haven't touched on this yet, but I do believe that these entities will form themselves in what scares you the most. Like we were touching upon, the children and the elderly as a way to get through. But if there is something that really scares you, like horns, for me, it would be something with many legs because spiders creep me out. So if I ever saw a shadow spider being, no, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. So, I think that a lot of times these entities will show up to what frightens you the most. Yeah. And the more you are aware of anything, the more you will attract. Absolutely, Mary.
I've done this for a while now, and if I saw the thing that I guess would give me the creeps and the heebie-jeebies would be what they were talking about with, like you were talking about, long claws and everything that were reaching out. Okay. Now, that would be my dude run moment.
Yeah. Throw in the towel. I got to go to the bathroom in my pants, and I got to run out. I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I got a spare pair of drawers in the car. I'll be back. Yeah.
I think we've all had those moments. Yeah.
That would be my dude.
All right.
Okay. But
I've got a question.
The reason I like residential is because we did one in Dyersburg, Tennessee. And this lady was seeing shadow people and all that. And, she was scared. Her grandkids would come over. They got where they didn't want to come over. They were scared. And we found out that her house is like a big deer cage. All wiring and everything. EMF was through the roof. And once we explained to her that this will make you see these things and give you the heebie-jeebies and your skin crawl and all this kind of stuff, when we left there, she was smiling, and that made everything worthwhile.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's power of persuasion. I mean, like I know voodoo. I've closed many portals with voodoo, and I was a practicing witch for many, many years, and I learned a lot of tricks in how to address these entities to where I could make them leave. Voodoo is extremely important with the tar water especially, and the brick dust, etc. Oh, did everybody, what happened?
Nothing.
Oh, Christina's on.
Oh, okay, cool.
I see hey, girl.
Well,
I lost the chat room. Shoot.
Mary said basically.
Mine switched over to Christina. Hang on. Mine switched over to Christina with June Lundgren. Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, there you are.
You hear me?
going on here?
Okay, Mary was saying that basically, if they assume a shape that scares someone, they have sort of a psychic intelligence.
Oh yes, absolutely. Because they don't have a body that we're used to, so it has to be. It has to
Well, yeah,
be through some sort of
uh,
telekinesis. Absolutely.
yeah, and intelligent
Um,
uh, mass or energy or
yeah,
whatever.
ESP, telekinesis. Yeah. I just got asked a question from someone in the home. After 10 years, do you really find something and find out you really may not wanted to find after all? In I guess in layman's terms, when we go ghost hunting, do we ever end up sorry that we ever did it because we found something that would scare the hell out of us? I will answer first. Hell yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I'm looking at an old show, I think.
I would have
All right, I can't see chat right now,
I would
so.
have to say that um, if a family is dealing with this
Mhm.
and they call on us and we go and we see something like that, we're not going to leave them hanging. You
Yeah.
know, are we going to say, well, man, I wished I hadn't came here? Maybe, but
Right.
once we're in that situation, it's like, well, they needed us, we're here, and whatever happens is going to happen. But we're going to try our best to help these people. And
Right.
you may walk away from there, like I said, going for your spare pair of underwear. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it would make me wish or make me quit doing what I'm doing. It would make me want to prepare myself and my team for anything in the future that might come up again like that.
Well, of course. Of
So,
course.
however
Um, yeah.
you
I
know,
know. I've done some interesting things, and you know how a lot of people will normally stand in a circle and hold hands, and they'll pray, and they'll put this like bright white light around them, and
yeah,
that's the sort of protection. Well, I had something happen to me, and I'm not going to go into it right now, but I think what we are doing by putting the white light up around everyone on the team is we are basically broadening ourselves or putting ourselves out there as a beacon for some bad things.
well,
So I have had much success with the purple and the blue. If you think about chakras, if you would surround yourself with a purple light or a blue light,
uh,
you won't attract that negative like
I've
some
heard
people
people
do with the
kind
white
of
light.
don't use the white light for a protection.
Mhm.
Okay, in my
Mhm.
opinion, you're feeding them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you need to go with something
I agree.
on a little
So that's a little
scale.
good information for the people listening. Don't use the white light anymore, guys.
Yeah, because you're giving them more
Um.
energy actually by doing that.
Mhm.
And if you
Mhm.
go with a little bit darker, like a purple or blue or
Mhm.
something like
Mhm.
that, it's not going to be throwing off all this excess energy they can use.
Right. Well, it's 5 to 11. So let's go ahead and give shout outs to everyone listening. Yay! Thank you so much. I've lost my chat screen, so I can't answer anything. But thank you for putting up with us with the first half an hour. And our our next guest is to be announced. I'm gonna save our psychics and some of our authors for later on in the shows. Once we figure out all these quirks and all that. So we will be announcing our next guest very very soon, and
Yes, we will.
it'll be someone cool. But some of the bigger names, I want to wait till we get all these
Uh,
little things worked out. Yeah, all these little bugs
since
worked
you
out.
can't
So.
see the chat, I got to tell you that what Mary said here because
Okay.
she said that's why you take an extra pair of paranormal depends with you.
Right. 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 And I know Mary will love this, but there will be shows. We do have some psychics that are willing to do some readings on the show, and I'm super stoked about that. And also on down the line, I've read Mary twice so far, so I need to wait a little bit for reading you again, Mary. But we will have a show to where I do readings as well. So, thank you guys for listening and putting up with us, and much respect.
Sorry
And
about
thank
all
you, Roger.
the
Yeah.
stuff from earlier, but that's why we wanted to do this, basically, is to make sure everything runs smooth and you see what happened.
Yeah, right. So I didn't want to bring a guest in and have this happen. That would have been totally embarrassing. So we'll figure it out. And our next show will be what, on the 21st?
On the 21st,
Yeah.
and we will, between now and then, we will post up who our guest is going to be, so everybody can be prepared for that.
Right.
And I hope everybody in the chat there and everybody watching had as much fun as we did. I really loved this show. It was great.
I do too. I can't wait to really get into the thick.
Yeah.
Really bring in some good minds and
Thanks
really talk about some crazy stuff.
Coming with us, and of course, and Wendell, and
thank you so much.
Big Bird, and all the rest of you guys that I can't see in the chat thing there. We really appreciate all you guys. Couldn't do a show without you.
Right.
And, we'll be back on the 21st. It will be at 8 Eastern, 7 Central versus the 9. So it'll be a little bit.
Let me make a note of that. Okay. Yeah. We'll be at 8 next time. That's right. I remember now. Okay, cool. Perfect.
Everybody's not up so late, and
Right. It is Sunday. People got to work. So yeah, absolutely. All right, Roger, I'm out. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in chat. Yay. So we at least got a good hour and a half in. So awesome. Yeah, great discussion, Roger. And you and I will talk very, very soon. I'm out. Okay?
Lovely. Hey, guys, thanks a lot again. Good night, everybody.